Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? It's your man Jakejames Lugo here. So this is going to be the first Patreon exclusive vlog that I do for my Patreon page. So big shout outs and thank yous to everybody that's been supporting me on my Patreon page. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this vlog. So what am I going to tackle this time around? Well, I'm actually going to dive into something that I feel like not only is personal and important to me, but will be very helpful for a lot of you guys out there, especially if you want to get into the games industry, covering video games or covering stuff as an influencer or content creator. Let's talk about reviewing games as a media person, as someone that's press, as someone that's a content creator, a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, any type of title that's associated with it. Let's talk about the actual process of that and the follow through of it. Now, the reason why I'm tackling this is because I think there's more to reviewing games than just playing and giving your opinion about the games. There's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it, and everybody gets really caught up on just the fact that they're getting games for free for review, or the fact that they just get to put their opinion out there about specific games. There's other things that are associated with it, and I feel like, just going over some of the process and offering some of my input and my experience to you guys will be very helpful for you in the long run. So what do I do as far as starting out, trying to review a game, especially if it's a new game that's just coming out or before release? Well, one of the big first things that I do is reach out to the PR. The PR, the press relations people as they're normally called, are the people that you interact with the most when it comes to big publishers or big developers on any of the big consoles or PC or indie stuff all over the place. You're always going to interact with PR people no matter where you go or where you're actually reaching out to. And what the PR people usually do is they're the ones that decide what different outlets or what different individuals gets the codes for their games. They actually want to reach out to as many as they can, but also as many as they can that they know is going to provide decent to great coverage of it. Decent to great coverage doesn't necessarily mean positive. It means that they're actually going to give, valid opinions that's supported, with different info and stuff that's not just putting their opinions out there just for the sake of throwing it out there. You get so many stories about people that just bash games for whatever reason and they just feel a certain way about it, but not necessarily going into depth and really supporting the way that they feel and trying to offer criticism as much as break a game down. Let's be completely claro in this. When you have to call a game bad, you have to call a game bad. But there's a certain way about going about it that just doesn't come off as being rude or just being disrespectful. You could say that a game is particularly bad, but why is it bad? Why are some of the other things that are bothering you and kind of impacting your experience when you're playing a specific game? But again, we get into much more different stuff there. Let's actually focus more on the process before we even get the game in the first place. So what I do normally in my own experience is that I'll reach out to some of the PR, and sometimes, if I see a game that I'm interested in or something that I want to kind of, follow up with a written review or video review, I'll send them an email, and sometimes I'll show them some of my previous coverage of the game, whether it's news posts or other stuff, or I'll actually send them similar stuff that's, kind of related to the game, but might not necessarily be the same company, if it's like the same genre or something, enough to show them that I'm actually serious about this and I'm not just looking for a free game. This is something that a lot of PR and a lot of other people in the games industry have to deal with on a regular basis. Because there's so many people that want to get into this type of career path and they want to get into this type of medium and industry, there's a lot of people that just think that just getting free games and just talking about them and throwing out your opinion out there about them is all there is to it. Again, it's not really just all about that. It's about providing great coverage that's really in depth and really kind of good and concise stuff that can really convey your thoughts as much as it is just getting a free game and being able to just put your opinion out there about it. So besides that, after first reaching out to the PR, sometimes I'll go back and forth with them, whether it's through email or through Twitter and other social media, and try to build that relationship up. And this is really the backbone when it comes to reviewing games. It's building up a relationship with the publisher, not because of positive coverage or negative coverage, either way. It's more about showing them that what you're doing is legit and what you're doing is serious and what you're doing is professional and not something that's just run out of the mill. I've had experiences where I've talked to different people where they get so caught up on just getting that free game or just getting that one pass or trying to get over on something, especially something they're a really big fan of, without actually just really trying to be, concise, really trying to be professional, and really trying to offer something to the larger conversation about some of these new games that come out from all these different publishers. And then from there, after talking with them for a bit and after, showing them some of my stuff, sometimes immediately I'll get a code for the game that I'm actually trying to review, or I'll get mailed a physical copy of it. It doesn't matter whether you get digital or physical copies of the video game you're reviewing, you're always going to approach it from the same type of process in the same type of way, because you're still trying to just convey your thoughts in a professional manner and offer something to the greater conversation. Now, let's talk about something that's very important to this entire process, and that's embargoes. Embargoes are very important because sometimes you're gonna be able to review a game early enough that's way before release, but it kind of evens out the playing fields and tells everybody that gets an early copy of that game, you can't say anything or you can't talk about your opinions on the game before this set date and time. This is something that happens on the regular where people are constantly breaking embargoes because they want to get that instant push of traffic and attention on their content, whether it's because they need it at the time or they just want to get a surge in activity and a surge of attention on them. But it really does a lot more harm than it does good, not just for them, but for everybody that's involved with games coverage. This has happened so many times, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've seen this happen. Even when I go to events where we're not necessarily reviewing the game, we're just previewing something and we're told, listen, we can't say anything before this date, and in kind of exchange for all the access and the coverage you're going to be able to get. All of a sudden, somebody just randomly, willy-nilly would just throw something out there, even if it's on accident, and completely mess it up for everybody else. All of a sudden, the entire audience is going to go check out their stuff, but yet we're over here trying to follow the rules, and nobody's going to look at our stuff because they've already seen it at one particular spot. As opposed to just that big blowout where everybody's going to offer their opinions at the same time, and the entire audience could go to one or different, specific places for different opinions about one specific subject. Now, again, there's no way really to stop people from breaking embargoes. The only really kind of person's responsibility to really deal with that is the PR, and they really deal with that in different ways, mostly with just denying coverage at future events or future games that are coming out. But for us that are just the media people that are just, in the trenches waiting to cover these games and stuff, we just have to follow the rules, and we kind of do this as a courtesy not only to our fellow colleagues, but also to you as the viewer, because we want to make sure that our thoughts and our opinions and stuff, whether it's a review, a preview, or anything else, is something that's really going to offer you something. It's going to give you food for thought about the games that at least you're interested in, so whether you could purchase it or not. So besides that, as I'm reviewing the game, as I'm following the embargoes and stuff, I just play the game normally. I just see how it is, how the experience is for me, and then I talk about it. I put it down in paper, I type it up, specifically on my laptop, and then I, put together and organize all my thoughts, I edited it, and then I put it out on thecoalition.com when the embargo is up. Usually embargoes are finished by the time the game's released, but even if it's before then, there's a set day and time where I'm actually able to do this, and then I just put it out there afterwards. So it's pretty cool, again, just being able to kind of check out some of these games early before the general public. It allows me to really kind of, absorb everything in about it and formulate my own opinion away from the noise of everybody else, on the hype train and all the excitement that's surrounding sometimes a very popular game. Now, once that's done, and once you actually have put it out and coverage is going out and everybody's talking about specific stuff, there is some other things you still have to think about in relation to the PR that, gave you the copy of the game in order to review for your outlet or for your own channel. Sometimes, again, you'll see them at other events and other places, or even just follow up with them with an email letting them know, hey, my coverage and my review is out now. I just wanted to let you know. Feel free to check it out and feel free to share it around on social media. I always like doing this because I think it's a common courtesy to let them know, like, hey, just letting you know I actually did this stuff that I said I was going to do. I wasn't just grabbing the game just to go, even though it might already be out there. And don't get me wrong, the PR could actually just look at your outlet if they were really curious or worried about that, and they could just check it out to see if the actual review is there. But I always just offer that as a courtesy, just so that way, again, it's easy for them to see the different content that I'm putting out there. And really, that's all it is to it. Again, it's just a couple simple steps and a couple things to keep in mind, and not only can you formulate great reviews, but you can also build up great relationships with PR for some of the biggest publishers that are out there, whether it's indie games or AAA publishers that you are kind of, really interested in covering. And for me, I've been doing this for years now. I've been doing this for almost going on 7 years and change, and it's something that's just pretty much, unanimously true for every outlet that's out there, whether it's IGN, whether it's the Coalition, or any other smaller websites or channels or places and influencers that might be out here covering games and actually giving you guys different types of content. So hopefully, with that little bit of insight, you guys will enjoy and, again, take something out of it. And again, if you're trying to get into games media coverage, these are really simple things just to keep in mind and stuff to really think about and kind of adopt into your own style when you're covering the games that you want to cover. So with that being said, though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this exclusive vlog. I'm going to try to start doing more of these every now and then. I know I said on the Patreon tier rewards I would try to offer at least once a month, but depending on what's going on, depending on how I'm feeling and other stuff that I feel like I need to talk about, I want to present to you guys. Maybe I'll do maybe 2 or 3 within a month, for everybody that's been supporting me on Patreon. Regardless though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you guys can and you like what you see, please consider supporting me on a higher tier if you haven't already done so. I have a ton of tiers on my Patreon page that allows you to influence a ton of the content that's on here, including exclusive podcast discussions, including exclusive interviews, as well as also the ability to choose some of the games that I review for the given month. I know I have the top 2 tiers that allow you guys to choose which games I actually want to review that month and post up a video review here on my YouTube channel. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoy this, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. Spread word about my Patreon, leave a like on this video, leave a comment down below with some of your feedback and any suggestions that you guys might have for future content, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. Peace out, stay epic everybody.